Hey guys, it's Bondel and Jolly with Elevate in 365, and thanks for joining me for today's casual conversation. I am sitting with Ameeta Jain, who is the founder of Home Selfie RE.
Hi.
And Ameeta, when I say the founder, that's such an understatement because you have been the founder and a tech starter and investor in so many, you've had your finger in so many different things over the years. And it's interesting because you and I were talking about, being a woman in the tech space and starting companies and in the confidence that it takes. Are you truly as confident as you always come across?
Depends on the day. Depends, it's fleeting. It just depends on situations, but what I have discovered over the years is self-confidence. I want everyone to think of it as a muscle. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So it doesn't behoove you to not, exercise that muscle on a daily basis. You have to do exercises like self-talk, self-compassion, self-awareness to really, build that self-confidence. Gratitude helps. But there was a time in my life I had total confidence muscle atrophy. I wasn't using it and I had lost it. And it was at that time I realized that I really needed to start exercising. I needed to nourish that muscle back into health. And it is fleeting. You can suffer a tear in that confidence muscle. And again, it's like babying it back to health, nursing it back to health. And you can do that in many ways. There's so many ways. It's number one, I always say this to everyone, is take inventory of your skills. Sometimes you might list them on LinkedIn and it's been there for 5 years or whatever, but have you ever sat down, Bondolin, and as a woman in startup and all of the aspects of a startup that you've got to learn how to do? There was a time that you didn't know how to get in front of the camera, or you didn't know how to film. There was a time that you may not have known about the finances in the company, or there's so many aspects in starting a company in different areas. And when you take inventory and you jot that down, what happened to me is I actually marveled in all that I knew. I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. So often we think about all the things that we don't know and we put doubt in our heads. But if you can focus on the things that you do know and take that inventory and soak it up, really just understand all that you've acquired over the years, it will really help build your self-confidence.
Oh, I love that, Ameeta, because it's funny, women tend to be so self-deprecating.
Yes.
Right? And so we stand there in the mirror in the morning and, look at, every negative thing about our visual, appearance or whatever that is. And I love that you're saying flip it on its head.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Tell yourself in the morning, once you've put that makeup on or you've done your hair, I'm amazing. I'm a good person, and get out there and, if you're approaching things with integrity and genuineness, and that should give you self-confidence. If you have the skills, that should give you self-confidence. Use your voice as hard as it is, and we've talked about shaking at times where, we're the only one in the room that is calling someone out on the table. Do it. Conquer those fears. It will give you self-confidence and lift others up, lift other women up in the industry. That will give you self-confidence.
Oh, that's wonderful. So let's see. So I love the analogy that your confidence is a muscle.
Use it.
And you need to use it,
yes.
Right? It's true that fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Right? So
this is a great place. This is where it actually belongs. Not when it comes to actual skills, but when it comes to your self-confidence. The only way that you're going to be able to build that, even when you feel like when I had that muscle atrophy, I had to fake it. I had to fake it and go, no, I do know how to do this. The skills that I've developed show me that I can do this. So believe it, and you'll get there.
That's wonderful. And use your voice, even if it shakes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think another great thing to do. I wake up every morning practicing happiness, whether that's if you want to call it gratitude, and I also do it with my husband. So it's not something that I'm doing alone, but I'll ask him, he'll ask me, and conversation that we have in the morning is practicing that happiness purposefully. You know, it's really just being purposeful about it.
And setting an intention for the day.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll literally actually write down what are the three things that I'm going to accomplish today.
Oh,
Sometimes it's just a conversation at breakfast. Sometimes it's, getting the kids out the door to school in the morning, and we're talking about, what their intention is for the day as they're exiting. So it doesn't have to be really formal and overly structured, but start your day by setting intention, being grateful.
Yeah, and it can be very simple things that you're grateful for. I remember, doing this with my husband, sitting at breakfast with him and asking what he was grateful for. And he was grateful for his peanut butter banana toast with that gourmet coffee. And you can be grateful for that, right? Or you could be grateful for waking up next to your spouse. I mean, it could be as intense or as light as you want it to be, but to practice that and to practice it purposefully. And doing things for yourself. During that time, that was a real low in my life. Remembering that I was able to take a concept and an idea and take it all the way to a multi-million-dollar company. We don't give ourselves that time. Women don't boast about their own accomplishments. Well, maybe we should. Maybe we should remind ourselves and others, like, I've actually done this.
So I like this. So everybody, as you're heading into the weekend, take a personal inventory of all of your skills, like Ameeta had said. I think it's a wonderful exercise to sit down, just write down a list of all of your skills, and then look at everything that you've accomplished and everything that you have the ability to accomplish because of those skills. And then go and look in the mirror, and instead of being self-deprecating and negative to yourself, recite those skills, to yourself in the mirror, and just be confident and have a wonderful weekend while you're doing that.
And you'll walk away with this huge smile, and you'll take that smile, it'll carry forward, and people will see that smile and they will be lifted, right? It's an incredible feeling.
Oh, that's fantastic. So take your personal inventory, and please, comment or, under this conversation, and let us know, what are some of your skills and what are some of the takeaways that you have?
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Yeah, we would love to. So please share with us. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Ameeta, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And you are actually going to be on the 24/7 podcast and video series with me, and we actually have a much longer conversation. So if you'd like to hear more inspiring thoughts from Ameeta Jain, be sure to visit us at 365.agency and register for our podcast series, and Ameeta will be one of our guests this fall on it.
Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie.
All right, bye, guys.